So after riding the RMX for a little bit and having it in my possession for a while, I've taken a bit of a look at it and sort of listed down some of the things that aren't quite right with the bike and some of the things that may need addressing in the very near future. First and foremost of these issues is the power valve. Now, currently, we can see that in here, someone has attempted to move the settings at some point for the power valve, and they've just broken it straight off with a little adjustment slide there. Now, this wouldn't really be a problem if the power valve itself was not stuck half open, or in this case half closed. In this little video here, you can see that we have smoke and spooge absolutely pouring out of the power valve breather port or breather hole. Now, this is a typical sign that the power valve's stuck or clogged. So that's our first major issue. Second big issue is the carburetor jetting. Now, I don't know exactly how this was jetted. I haven't taken it apart fully and checked all the pilot sizes or anything like that. However, I do know that this is the PJ carb that came stock on this model, and it's generally not been very well received. A lot of people don't like them. The first thing many people do is to upgrade to a PWK Air Striker. The bike also has a minor problem with the petcock valve on the fuel tank, where it will slowly leak no matter what position we put the tap in. It's not really a huge problem, but it's something that I'm definitely going to fix pretty soon. Moving around to the back wheel here, we can see that the back brakes look quite rusty and worn. They're a little bit shined now, as I gave them a bit of a wire wheel just to get some of the real grit off them. This probably wasn't the best idea, but it seemed to do the job. We initially had no back brakes here at all. They were completely seized and nothing was moving, so I had to bleed the back brake system for quite a while in order to get any movement out, and even then we had to give it a real grease up with some WD-40 and some synthetic grease. The front brakes were initially in a very similar position to the back brakes. They weren't working very well, so we polished the disc, put some new pads in there that I had lying around, and bled the system for quite a while just to get all the little bits of crap out of the hydraulics. So front brakes work a treat now. Mainly the back brakes I'll have to worry about, but definitely be rebuilding the calipers on both the front and back. Someone's put some disgusting orange Chinese crap on here at some point, so we'll definitely have to get rid of that. Onto the pipe now. Might be hard to see on this camera, but the pipe does have several very big dings in it. This isn't really going to affect the performance a great deal, but I'd definitely like to straighten this out a little bit and get rid of those dings. Do a video on that sometime in the future. One of the other things I did to the bike initially once I got it was do the exhaust seal. I bought a new one off Windorosa and it fit nicely with some new springs as well, because the second I fired this thing up, it was just pissing exhaust smoke everywhere and spooge was running down under the engine, and it was just a real mess. Yet to split the cases or take the cylinder head off. However, I don't hear any real rattles or knocks, which is definitely a good thing. We have all gears, everything functions quite well. The front sprocket looks okay, but I'll definitely replace that. I think we'll keep the gearing stock, as it's doing quite a good job as it is. Same as the rear sprocket here. I'm not sure if this is stock or not. Again, it's some Chinese orange anodized aluminium by the look of it. I don't know who puts orange anodized parts on a yellow Suzuki bike. Chain is in relatively good condition, which is good. Chains tend to be pretty expensive on larger bikes, around the $120 mark for a decent chain. So we'll polish this one up and keep it until it breaks. This bike originally came with some Chinese bark busters when I bought it. They worked okay, but I ended up taking them off as one of them was bent rather seriously, and they sort of look like trash as they've been dropped and mucked around with quite a lot. Now previously on this bike, both of the levers on both sides were broken halfway. One of them had been fixed with some sort of glue to make a knob on the end, so we ripped those right off straight away and replaced them with these billet aluminium fold away. So these are great, so when you drop your bike you don't snap the lever, it just bends forward like so. They're a bit shorter in length, but I don't mind that. It's quite a strong clutch pull, definitely tiring over a long period of time. Up to the gauge cluster here and the status light as well as the ignition, everything works quite well, no real complaints here. May switch it out for a digital tacho and a few things like that at some stage in the future, as well as put an hour meter on the engine. Currently I'm just going off how many Ks it's done, so it's quite a good effort for an older bike. One of the other big problems with this bike that I've found after riding it for a little while is I discovered that it had no seat clips, so decided to hold it on with a Oki strap for now. It's doing a pretty good job, the seat doesn't come off, but I think we can definitely do a little bit better. Maybe do a bit of a custom job with some pieces of aluminium and the drill and get that mounted back on there. So that's all the major issues with this bike that I've discovered so far. A full rebuild will definitely clear up all these issues and get this beast running again in absolutely perfect condition.